Oh my gosh. All right, let's try this one more time. By the way, don't try to live stream like when you don't have a proper setup at like 1 a.m. It's like the third time I'm trying to. I keep coming across a bunch of issues, a bunch of things I keep forgetting. It doesn't matter. Give me 1 second. Load this scene up properly. Load settings. Sorry, I was manually loading something on my X32. Okay, so we are going to be going over. We're going to simplify this. I'm trying to do too many things at once. It's kind of getting a little confusing, especially because I haven't slept in like 3 days. Normally, I do this very easily. I'm just tired. Okay, so I want to go over some basic stuff for some pre-production that I have to do for a couple of shows coming up. We're going to keep it simple and easy. So, the first one is going to be doing pre production for a show where I'm going to be um, mixing a band, and my friend is going to be using my console as a stage box, or my friend's going to be using my X32 as the monitor mixer. So, the way that this is going to work is going to be pretty easy. We're going to have a SD32 or a DL32 or whatever they pay for. Honestly, I don't charge any different for either one, so it doesn't matter. But we are going to utilize the stage box as basically the home base. And the DL32 or SD32, they're just little 32 channel stage boxes. I have a picture right here. This is the back of it, and this is the front of it. I have an SD32 connected just in my rack right there. We're going to have 32 channels in, 16 out, and it's going to be very, very simple. Now, the way that this is going to work is the Behringer wing is going to connect through AS50 port A. The X32 rack is going to connect to port B. Going over to my control, you'll see that the Behringer wing will be controlling internal sync source at a clock rate of 48 kilohertz. This will give me essentially master control. Now, for the X32, we're going to be connecting that to port B, correct? So right now the X32 is on B of the X of the wing, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to disconnect it from there and connect it to B of the SD32. It's going to be the exact same thing as a DL. Okay, and then let me go over there and swap it. All right, that is properly done. So now my wing no longer sees the console. And I'm just going to tab over to my routing tab on the actual wing. Go into my sources. I go into my sources and I can actually see the stage box on there, which is really cool. So what I did is on the X32, I have set its master clock source to be the AS50B port. So now both consoles are connected. And let me see if I can create a scene on OBS where you can see this. Let's create a source. And I think it's like a video source on the phone. Do a video capture source. We hit OK. And let's just add my audio input capture as well. And for this, we're going to do this. Yep. Okay. Cool. All right. So we have that here. Let us see if I can see it. It says my phone is locked. There we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is switch over to my phone. Cool. So what you saw there, let me actually grab this scene, copy this, and paste it here. Delete this. This is my first time doing this, so it's a little finicky. Boom. Okay. So now it should work. Beautiful. Okay. So what you're seeing here is my X32 rack, and you're seeing the wing. So the X32 rack's master source is set to AS50A, which is connected to the B of the stage box. So now I can see that, and I can tap it. So that's allowing me to see what's going where and what's going what. So in our case, we can now see the inputs of the X32, and we can now see the inputs of the DL32 or the SD32 in this case. But you'll notice that we do not have head amp control, right? We don't have preamp control. We're not going to be using the console as any sort of preamp control whatsoever. So if I go into my wing control software, right here, go into my routing tab, just going to use my touch screen, and go into our inputs, you'll see that we have preamp control from 1 through 32, but nothing on this one. That's going to be really easy to fix. We're just going to go on to the X32. This is just showing you if you want to have preamp control. You can go to setup, go to preamp, and then you do HA port control. Go back here, and now I can control the preamps. So if I go here, I should just be able to gain it up, and we'll see the local inputs gained up. Going into here, boom. You see, it's gained up all the way. So pretty cool. We do get that control. Let's see if we can bring up that menu and keep it here. And it does allow us to control it. Pretty cool, right? It is cool, but it's actually not necessary because we're not using it. Again, we're not using it. So this is going to be set as a headphone amp gain split, because normally if we have this off, we're not supposed to have any type of gain control. So if we go into our connections and our preamp control, you'll see that we can see what's going on here. And if we do HA gain split, we should be able to have a split gain from the console. And we can even see source SD or S32B. This is the port B. This is input. It's pretty cool. So you can see input 1 through 32, and then B, which is going to be whatever is connected to that. So we've lost gain control or head amp control. That's totally fine. We don't care. Now, what we can do in this case, though, is see that we see the S32, and we're going to do our routing options. So for this, we're not using local outputs. We're going to have A, right? And I believe the way that it's supposed to work is we do this. This is going to give us inputs 1 through 32. Now, the next thing is we need to tell the console, the wing, that, hey, for our outputs for AS50A, right now 1 through 16 is being fed through our outputs, correct? Our inputs is obviously here, and our outputs are here. Now, we shouldn't see anything here. There was an issue in my routing earlier. I don't know what I did, but I was causing a routing error issue. So right now, the stage box is set up properly. Let's go to our routing panel. Boom. So right now, the stage box is an input. So if we hook up a mic to it, let's go do that right now, and we'll see what happens. We'll go back to the phone. We'll switch to a front view. See a little green screen right here. What we're going to do. Here. Cool. So we are back. Now I have this microphone connected to channel 31, I believe. So if I tap this, and let's check the wing, because it's a lot easier to see on the wing. If we go into our input tab, I see channel 31 right there. So if we go into our X32, we're going to go into the setup tab, and we go into channel 32, and we have to view it here. So let's scroll over. This is kind of the annoying thing about the X32's control app. Right there, boom. So we see it just fine. We don't have head amp control here, but we should have head amp control here. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. So it doesn't look like it's working right now, which is kind of a little bit disconcerting. It's supposed to work just like that. According to the manual, that's just it. That's all it needs to do, and it works. So in this case, it looks like gain split mode is not working properly, which is really annoying. Hey, hey, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But we do have control over this, which is going to give us 18 dB. Not enough. Honestly, nowhere near enough. It's going to be kind of a little bit of an issue. So this is just something I've noticed. When I go wing to wing or X32 to X32, it works just fine. Totally weird. I don't understand why it doesn't work. So let's see what we can do. How can we mitigate this? So I'm assuming what that means is that the wings preamp control is the master control. So if we come here, yeah, you see, we're getting clipping. So we're going to hit this to 0. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, what happens if we allow remote control on this, right? Is this going to allow me to have control? Let's see. No, it's definitely not allowing me to have any type of remote control. So let's do a head amp gain split. Check, 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 check. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. It's honestly, it's kind of a nuisance. It's a little bit annoying. And I mean, at this point, we're not even seeing signal anymore because as soon as you do this, where you allow AS50 port B to have head amp control, you lose the connectivity. But what if I do this? Do I gain head amp control? No, still nothing. So I don't know what it is. To be honest, it's a little bit annoying that we don't have any type of head amp control. But according to the manual, this is supposed to work. It obviously is not working. I don't really know how to make it work, but it's annoying. Like I said, when you go X32 to X32, it works just fine. When you do when you go wing to wing, it works just fine. So what does that mean? Well, that means, by the way, you can't hear this mic. That means that what we're going to have to do is control all of the preamps from the wing, which is honestly not a big deal. It's totally fine, especially because we're really good at gain staging. I've never had an issue with gain staging whatsoever. I always make sure to hit everything at -12, -18 if I want to be a little more conservative. So it doesn't matter. The point is that we're definitely getting signal. Now, we're not going to be able to get output signal from the stage box from the X32. I mean, we can get that routed out, but we're not going to because we don't want to. What I'm going to do is use the X32 as a monitor mixer, and since it has 8 outputs and 6 aux outs, we're going to just program that out. So let's go to the effects and auxes and the buses. So we're going to have bus 1 be, let's do drums. That's right, drums, bass, guitar 1, guitar 2, and then we're going to do guitar, or we're going to do Vox left, Vox right, and we're going to do sax. It doesn't matter the order. This is just how I'm making it right here. So this is going to be laid out. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outputs. If we need more outputs, we can go out of the line outputs. We'll just need converters. But as of right now, this is how it's going to go. For our routing, we're going to go into outputs, XLR. This is going to be our local outputs, and it's going to be 1 through 8. We can do AES 1 through 8. You know, we can basically get from any input to any output, but we don't want to worry about that. The X32's outputs are going to just be from monitors. So we're going to go to our routing tab once again and go to our outputs, and you can see everything's going on right here, right? Drums, bass, guitar. Cool. Awesome. Whatever. Aux outs, alternate, IO setup. Everything's set up right here. And we just want to make sure that this is going to be going out properly. So if we go to our output panel, it's all fine. Everything looks like it should work just fine. But we do have to route out the buses. Where are the buses going to go? Because right now it's just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Outputs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So normally that's fine. In fact, if I go to my routing tab on the X32 right now, let's switch over to that camera. You'll see that everything should be fine. I don't like the X32's editing software for PC specifically because it just doesn't work well. It's kind of annoying. It's a nuisance. So let's see if we can switch over to my camera here. Is it not working? Hit OK. And this should give me control back. Okay, cool. We're back. So if we go here, we're going to see what's going on. So we're going to go over to our output tab, and you're going to see that this is laid out properly. And for some reason, it's not clicking in. Let's see what's going on with that. So it looks like, really interesting, it looks like my X32 Rax button's broken. Yeah, the X32 Rax button's broken. That's hilarious. So all we're going to do is just set this. So we can come here, set this to inputs, boom. So we're going to select this and just set them how they're supposed to be. I believe purple is post fader. So we'll set these at post fader. And we're just going to tell it what to be. So normally what we'll do is we'll click the button. X32 Rax button broke. I don't know when it broke. My son probably broke it because it worked like 2 weeks ago. So these are our outputs. We have 8 local, and then we have 8 digital, right? So if we do this, it'll be our mix buses are all here, and then we could do, let's say 7 and 8 is going to be our main out. So we're going to go into our main outs. That should be right here. It'll be outputs and sources, right? So boom, boom, or yeah, 7, 8, 7, 8, which would mean we'd have drums, bass, guitar, vocal, vocal, and in this case we'd have sax. So we would lose the main output on 8 or on 7 and 8. So we have main, left, and right, boom. So if we go like this, now we've assigned it. It's going to be post fader. Now we can change it to input just by clicking or whatever. It really sucks. I'm going to have to get my button fixed. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe if I reset it, it'll fix it. Who knows? Who cares? Whatever. It's something we can fix digitally. I don't really care. Now, so what that's going to do is make sure that this is going to be controlling the outputs for the monitors. And depending on how you handle monitor mixing, you're going to get a different effect. So a lot of engineers who mix monitors tend to like to have them set in a way where the monitors are post fader. That way they get to like give it a custom mix and do all this cool stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to link these right here. We're going to stereo link this. So this is now one fader. And for the sake of my friend who's going to be doing this, he's going to set this as a pre-fader or post-fader mix, right? So we're going to go to our sends, do change it globally, and set it all to post-fader. Post-fader, and post-fader. And keep in mind that the X32 is going to do this in pairs. So the 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's going to do it like that. It never does it individually. It's not a wing. You don't get that option whatsoever. it's an older console, and that sucks, but that's how it goes, right? That's just how it is. So let's see. Now that we have this set up, what's going to happen is basically whenever they are doing anything with their mix, let's say they're going to be going into kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom. Let's say they set this mix. This is their awesome, amazing mix, right? Tom, let's see, overhead left, overhead right, and we're gonna have Tom 1, Tom 2, Tom 3, and we're gonna have bass, the sexy sax, and then we're gonna have Vox 1, Vox 2, Vox 3. That's the most we're gonna do, right? He sets his mix. This is the lead vocal, this is the background vocals. Saxophone's gonna be low, bass is gonna be just thundering around, the toms are gonna be chilling here with the hard gate on them. And then the overheads are gonna be stereo linked. So we're gonna want to stereo link these channels. I believe the way you do that on the X32 is you click here. You have to click on the channel, go home, go to stereo link. Boom. Overheads. So that's how that's done. That's nice and dandy, all cool. Let's do any panning and stuff like that we need. So for that, I believe we go into the channel section and should be right here for the mains. Cool. So Tom 1, Tom 2, Tom 3. Okay. Let's just pretend that that's his mix. What's going to happen now if he sets his mix to post fader is he's going to be able to control everything and mix it and make it sound however he wants. It's going to be really cool, really dope, right? He's going to have a general balance, and that balance will feed the auxes automatically. He just has to make sure that he sets them all to unity. So he's going to have to set all of these to essentially like -5, and we will just set all of these to -5, right? Bloop, 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 bloop. And the only thing is you're going to have to do that for every single channel. So it's best to just do this and just go -5, -5. There's no real way of globally doing it on an X32. It is kind of a little bit of a nuisance, but this is an older console. It's like this with a lot of consoles as well. But a cool thing, a benefit of having everything in a post fader is although your gains are set to the same thing, they're actually not, because they're utilizing this mix. Now, the main core thing for this type of mixing when you're monitor mixing is you want to make sure that whatever specific monitors you're mixing for, let's say you're mixing for the drums, you want to have some core elements set to, I guess, pre-fader, right? So instead of having everything here, right, like every single thing here always set to post fader, what some engineers that I've worked with do is they will set certain sends to pre-fader. So he'll set his, kick out, his snare tops or whatever to pre-fader. And that way he'll be able to do that and individually have those elements not be stuck at, the post fader send. It works for some people and it doesn't, but that's also why you have to have these other external sends. Because if you do it this way, you're basically going to give them a really nice mix that you designed. And that's the whole point of a monitor engineer is you're supposed to mix the monitors like how you would mix mains. So you set this mix and then you do any type of fixes where they're like, hey, I really like that, but I want a lot less overheads. Overheads are very aggressive and they always want to hear more kick. That's why I like to have a kick in mic and a kick out mic. The Beta 91A sounds really good for kick in mic. It sounds really good on monitors because it's very clicky and because it's full frequency. If you look at the frequency response of a Beta 91A, right? So Beta 91A. Let's just go on Sweetwater or Shore's website. Let's go on Sweetwater. I trust Sweetwater more. I don't know why, but I like I like Sweetwater more. Let's go here. And let's close this out. We'll go to Sweetwater. They should have a frequency plot somewhere. That's my sales guy, Christian. Well, I guess I was wrong. Normally there's a frequency plot. So go on Shore's website. We'll go to details, and there is supposed to be a frequency plot here. It's so funny. I don't like how all these companies are just removing their information. But basically, if you look at a Beta 91A frequency response there, you'll see that it's roughly, or in general, kind of like this full frequency band with a big spike here, depending on how you set it. So if you use the EQ to cut here, you're going to have a very, very full frequency response. So one thing that I like to do when mixing monitors is I will actually give them inside kick instead of outside kick, because it's going to be less prone to feeding back. And that way they can get that beater sound so they can hear themselves without like just clouding their mix with low end. It's a really cool trick. And that way, you can give everyone a really good mix, but keep in mind that your low end for the kick is going to feed back very easily. So you give them the inside kick, the Beta 91A. It's a fantastic mic, but it's very, very like top end heavy. Move this 300-foot Cat 5 out of the way. Sorry. It's very top end heavy. So it's going to have a lot of like snappiness. It's going to sound really cool and really good and full, but it's going to be not so much boom, more like a pop, pop, like a beatery thing. It's going to be fantastic for monitor mixes. And that's really cool. Now, moving on, that's working, right? The monitor console is working. How about the front of house console? Well, because we're not gain sharing, because for some reason, the way the X32 is and the M32 are programmed, they have not been updated yet. So once they give you a firmware update, they should work properly. But because they're not properly coded for the new AES50 that the Wing uses, you're going to have to make sure that you do all the preamp control. So in this case, for the AES50A, we're going to go into our inputs. So we're going to routing tab, and the fastest and easiest way to do this, because normally you will have to go into your inputs and outputs, and you'll have to manually put it into a channel, right? You'll go like this, you go like this. Don't do that. The fastest way is you go right here, and let's switch to this view. The fastest way to do your routing, because normally on a Wing, a lot of people go into each channel, they click on it, and they choose their source, right? Choose their source, and they go one at a time. You do not want to go one at a time at all, ever, when you're doing your patching. Just do not do it. It will not be friendly to you, okay? You're going to go into your routing tab, input, and you do channel selection. You don't do your input or output, you go channel selection. You make sure that this is on, because normally it's locked. And from here on out, you're able to select the individual channel, and it will automatically be patched in. It's a great trick to use, and you're even able to have the stereo channels. So unlike the X32, where if you want to have a stereo channel, you lose one of the mixer channels. Oh. 1 second, my cat just knocked down a bunch of stuff. I'll be right back. It's a good thing I had the green screen right there. I had like a whole thing just fall on me. All right. So on the X32, when you have a stereo channel pair, it's going to lose a mixed channel. You're basically going to say, hey, channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are now using 8 inputs, right? You don't get to have multiple inputs. Well, that's a really loud car. On the wing, you don't have that limitation. So we're going to do kick, snare, tom, or kick, kick, snare, snare, overheads, stereo. Boom. This next channel is going to be tom, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because we don't have to be limited to that, what we're going to do instead is move over. So 5 and 6 are going to be our overheads. 7, 8, 9. Now, channel 8 is going to be input 5 in stereo. This is going to give me Beta 91, UAD ST5, UAD ST7, Sennheiser 906, or whatever it is called. I believe it's the 906. Let's double check. It is the 904 microphone. Let me show you. So the microphones I use for my kick in is obviously the Beta 91. I use the SD5 mic from Universal Audio. It's a really good microphone, to be honest. The standard mic. I don't use modeling anymore. I sold my Apollos, so I don't have them. And then I use the SD7 for all of my snare tops and for horns. It's fantastic. And then again, I use that Sennheiser for the snare bottom, right? Very simple, very easy. Then for the tom, we're going to just use the, what is it, the SD5s. Bloop. SD5s, UAD. I just use 3 of these. So we have tom, tom, tom. Boom, done, easy. Now for the overheads, I am going to use whatever I have. I usually use Beta 91As, Beta 91s, sorry, I usually use SM81s, stereo pair, a matched pair. Or lately, I have been getting really into the Warm Audio pencil condensers. Did I spell pencil wrong? I think I spelled pencil wrong. Let me see. Warm Audio condenser. Boom. I use these, the WA84s. They sound really warm and really, really full, and they don't have as much sparkly top end. So after that, we're going to move on. So we're going to have a bass, 2 guitars, saxophone, and then we're going to have 2 singers. So we're going to have 13, 14, 15, 3 singers, and then we're going to have 2 speech mics. Now it's all going to be stereo tracks. So from here on out, it's all going to be stereo tracks. So that means that we're not going to be able to link these two, because on the wing, you can't just link any channels. It has to be, like A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4. It has to be odd, even, odd, even. You can't do even, odd. So this is now going to be channel 19 in stereo. That's going to be a DJ. And then for myself, I am going to do USB audio, and I have PC, which is always going to be set up for 3 and 4. Boom. So that's Spotify, whatever. There's a DJ, there's Spotify. And just in case, we're going to do local inputs. So it's going to be pretty easy to do. You just go local inputs. Right now, you see my voiceover is coming in here. So what we're going to do is local inputs 17 and 18. Make it stereo. Boom. So now we have our entire session. The reason why we're not doing all of this extra stuff here on the X32 is because this is just a monitor mixer. X32 is just doing monitors. So he doesn't need DJ. He doesn't need my backup playback. He doesn't need Spotify. But because the DJ is coming in through the stage box, he can actually use that. So let's say 1920 is going to be the DJ. It doesn't matter because it's going to be inputs. Oh yeah, 1920. So he's just going to select this channel and stereo link it. And it's going to be DJ left, DJ right. So let's pretend whoever is mixing monitors, it's usually my friend, whoever's mixing monitors has everything from stage that's going to play from stage. I am getting only Spotify or any backup playback that is not going to be playing with the band. If any tracks do get added that the band needs, they can add it through the other channels available on the S32 or the DL32. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tracks left that they can use. It's great. At least 12 tracks, I believe, on the stage box. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tracks. So we have 13 channels on the stage box that they can use, which means that there's 13 channels left on the X32 as well. Technically, there's more, but we're not using aux inputs. So this is set up, right? We have the monitor mixer set up. We have his mixes set up in his outputs, and we do his routing. So he's all good to go. He's ready to go. It depends on how he wants to do it. If he wants to do it pre-fader, post-fader, it's going to be totally up to him. But that is also why we did the global control. And that's done right here. Once again, for those who missed it, you can have your control on your sends. You just go to the channel and you can select globally, and that will make it the same thing for every channel. If you do it individually, it doesn't do it globally. So it really depends on what you want to do. On the wing, though, it's more common to have post-fader sends because you're able to have individual channels be pre or post-fader. So totally up to you. Now for the front of house, this is going to be our setup. Now that we have our channels laid out, you can see everything's here and we can label. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to make all my drums red. It's going to be inside. And if we go to the next one, outside. Oh, no, sorry. Boom, boom. And it's going to be snare top, snare bottom. It's going to be tom, high tom, mid tom, floor tom. Make these red. And this is going to be our overhead channel 8. Remember? It's going to be stereo. Boom. So now if we go to our home page or our mixer view and we look at our inputs, we can see A, B, C, D, whatever. We can see them all. And it's all properly laid out. Now channel 9, don't know why 9 is that. There's nothing on 9 right now. That is actually going to be the bass. So I make bass kind of bluish purple, whatever this is. It looks like a blue to me. And for some reason, I like making this my bass guitar logo. I find that these two can be, these three can be confused for normal guitars. So like this little funky little little bass right here. So I'm also seeing that these inputs seem to be matching, right? So this is where you go into your channel input and you see what's going on here. Oh, they're both channel 9, right? So I messed up. This should be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then this will be 19, 20. And that looks proper now. That is fine. So now we're good to go. And it's really that easy. So this is going to be changed once again. Close this, right click, red, floor tom. This is now going to be this like bluish purple. To be the funky little bass. Bloop, bloop, bloop. We have the guitars. I always make my guitars green. It's going to be our little rock and roll guitar. This is going to be a little V. And then we're going to have the little sexy saxophone. He's going to be purple. He's going to be purple. So here on out, we have the vocal mic. So I just make all my vocals pink. I don't know why. I think someone told me to do it once and I just stuck with it. So we're going to have a female singer, lead singer, and a backup singer. So I think we're going to make the lead. He's going to get the cool little mic, so I know that that's him. Cool. Done deal. 17 is going to be the speech mic. So I'm going to make this a kind of weird shade, like a peach color. And we're going to go for this guy because he's a wireless. And this one's also going to be the same thing. Now, these seem to have the same input. So this is where you can do little corrective measurements. So it looks like I was wrong on my patch panel. And that's why it's a good thing to always double check this stuff, because you could be wrong and you want to make sure that you get it right. This is going to be the DJ. That's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to make DJ this greenish color, this ugly puke green. And he is going to be, where's little DJ logo? You get like a little DJ guy. There you go. Little DJ guy. PC. This is going to be a backup one. So this is going to be an aux. We're going to just do an iPad and we're going to make it green as well. Boom. That's my input list. That's my show file. So now I got to worry about my matrices. So on the Behringer Wing, you get 4 stereo mains and 8 stereo matrices. For this session, it's going to be pretty easy. So what we're going to be doing, and I don't know why my vocal is coming. Oh, because I have my vocal fader up. Bring that vocal fader down. I wish I knew, because I think I was sending that to the mix. Let's double check. No, I don't think so. They shouldn't go to the mix. Nope. All right, cool. So, what's going to happen here? Well, we're going to select what's going to go into each main out. So I have the main left, right, and the sub main. That's going to be for the kick. Snare is not going to go into the subs. The toms will go into the subs. And the overheads I usually don't send to sub. Bass I'll send to sub, guitar no, sax no, no vocals go to sub, but the DJ will, the music will, everything will go to sub. Now, I don't do any processing whatsoever here. This is going to be level set. This is going to be setting my volume. So this should be at -3, and this should be at -5.5, right? That should be set. So this will be my main volume and my sub volume. You'll see that there's no processing whatsoever, but you do see what channels are going to be processing through them or going through them. Now for the matrices. So this is where we're going to actually do cool stuff. Matrix 1 is always going to be my main left, right. And I'm going to make that purple, just because it was purple on the X32. It's the only reason why I make them purple. Now, this is stereo. Keep in mind that all your auxes and buses and channels are mono or stereo. So these are going to be Sivas. Let's make them look like Sivas. This is just a K12 and a sub. This is going to be my sub. Make this the subwoofer. Make it purple. We do sub. Now, we're using L Acoustics. The cool thing with L Acoustics is you do not need to do crossovers for L Acoustics. It's built into the power amps. But if you do need to do it, you can just go here and you can set your curve. This is where you're going to do all your EQing. Every corrective move will be done here. And this is also where you're going to be doing your inserts. So I'm going to set my insert to be 9. And we're going to put a graphic EQ. For corrective EQing, I do not use any sort of true EQ. True EQ is really cool because it kind of flattens out how the EQ curve is going to be set. And it really does help things out. So let's say you do this. Let me open up. Oh, I got a great way of showing you. Let me show you Super Rack Performer. So the way that should be camera 4. Am I correct? Is it 4? Yeah, Super Rack Performer. So the way that a true EQ works is a lot like how Wave's modern EQ works. So if I go to for their graphic EQ, if I can find it, modern. No, that's the HEQ. My bad. EQ, and it should be here. Let's just go here. Let's go to the rack, swap to the channel, and we will swap this plugin. So if you go to the modern graphic EQ, you'll see that when you do some adjustments, you see how it kind of has this flat curve? That's what True EQ does. True EQ creates a very consistent curve that will basically make a flattening of the frequency. So if you do that exact move here on the True EQ curve, it's going to match exactly what the Waves EQ is doing. It's a cool thing to do, but this also gives you this kind of little bit of a bump, and it also gives it a wider bell. So you're doing a lot more frequency cuts. Whereas doing the normal EQ, where people get kind of weird and they say that it's a less high quality EQ, but it's actually tighter. You know, it's actually a lot tighter than what Waves is doing. Waves is making it wider to supplement for the fact that it's not using any type of excess or extra analog emulation thing to make it sound better. Waves actually does like an analog filter where it sounds really nice and it's clean sounding. It's more analog. Look at how wide that is. Well, the Waves one is doing that. The normal EQ, the non-true EQ on the Behringer does not do that. It's actually a very tight EQ where it isn't as tight as like using this EQ. I would say that it more looks kind of like this, right? Whereas the true EQ is kind of like a wider thing and it's able to kind of match. So if you do the normal graphic EQ on the Wing or the X32, and you do cuts like this, it'll look like this, right? Whereas the true EQ will flatten out and it'll actually kind of like look very even. You can't actually really create that curve on the Wing without doing some pretty wide EQ curves, but it'll make it more like this, which is kind of cool. It's more consistent, but you can see that this is a lot more frequencies that you're cutting than doing this. So for corrective EQing, specifically corrective EQing, I always go for the non-true EQ. We turn this on, boom. Subs, we're not using a graphic EQ on subs at all. We don't need it. But what we are going to do is I like to have the Psycho Bass. Think of this as the R-Bass plugin from Waves. It's literally R-Bass, right? So if we go back to my Nook, bloop, we go into my plugin list, and it should be under Harmonics. If I can find it. Oh, it's not here. Wow. Where would that be? Where would this be? I would assume that R-Bass would be here under Harmonics. Let me see. Let's see if we can find it because I own the Mercury bundle. I paid for it. I should have R-Bass. Maybe it's under Effects, JJ Bass, Low Space, Retro. That's weird. Maybe R-Bass is only stereo. Sometimes I notice Waves is weird like that. They'll have like only stereo plugins. Well, we have Max Bass, right? Oh, there it is. R-Bass. Other. So this is R-Bass. Look how tiny this thing looks. So R-Bass is really simple. You just select the intensity and the frequency of the harmonics generated, and then you have the gain for your output gain. Really simple. R-Bass is the exact same thing. You select the frequency, you select the bass gain, and you have the intensity. You can also solo it up to just hear the harmonics generated, but this is a great way of accenting the low end without adding more actual low end. Much like R bass and like Max bass, Psycho bass is psychoacoustic bass. It works a lot like the XXL plugin from Denise Audio. It basically selects a frequency and then increases harmonics above that frequency. So if you have a frequency here, I guess on the camera that you're seeing, it would move it up that way and create harmonics that makes it sound like there's more bass without generating more bass. If you have really nice subs, you can use SubMonster because this is a subharmonic synthesizer. It will actually generate lower frequencies. So let's say we set this to 60. Excuse me. Let's say we set this to 60. We now have band 1 here, and we can generate harmonics under that frequency and above it. This gets pretty wild and pretty aggressive. You can also use a sub-octaver, but this is not for your mix bus. Psycho bass is your best bet if you have small subs, something like a Behringer sub or a QSC sub or an Electro Voice sub or even an L acoustic sub. It will give you a lot more perceived bass without eating up too much headroom and without extending the low end that it can or cannot handle. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. It's a criteria to have. Now, we're pretty much done because an L acoustic system that we're using for this show that I'm setting up, this is an actual show we're setting up. Normally, it's a lot more organized because I'm not doing this at like 2 a.m. and I have work too tomorrow. I have an event. But normally, we're not doing this at 2 a.m. And normally, I'm sitting down not talking to anybody live. No one's talking to me, which I'm glad. Please don't leave comments because I'll get lost. But what's going on is we're basically designing the show. So let's get rid of this graphic EQ, put it back on, boom. So mains with a graphic EQ, no true EQ. Remember that, no true EQ. If you turn it on, it's going to give you very wide and aggressive kind of cuts. The subharmonic synthesizer, and you can leave these off. Just have them on because with the Wing, if you have a module on and you like swap it, it'll actually create a little dip because it has to do the latency compensation, and it will actually create a long pause depending on what you're doing. So if you do like a combinator or anything that has a longer delay, it's going to like have this long pause. So you want to have it just off, and you can switch between them very easily. Wait a few seconds. I say wait about 3 seconds, and then you can turn it on. Well, cool. We're done. Those are our matrices. We do have delays though. So for the delays, we are going to insert a plugin just to have it compensate. We can go onto the Behringer website and find the exact latency per plugin, but most of these standard effects have the same latency. So I'll just put a graphic EQ here because we're not using monitor mixes, so we're not having to worry about that. So we'll do delay, left, right, because this is going to be a stereo output, and we're just going to go there for the delay. Now we're set up. We can go to our routing page and go to our output. We're going to use AS50A, and this is where we're going to select our matrices. So we're going to have outputs 1516, matrix left, right. We're going to do 14 sub, and then we're going to do 1112 delay. I like to leave 13 open just because in case the client is demanding stereo subs, I can do this, but for the most part, I almost always make my subs mono. So after I set up my routing, I go here and I go to this tab right here. You can mono out your bass or invert the phase. This is also where you're going to add your delay. That's your direct input. Your delay should be here on your output. And when we are time aligning, we are going to set this to feet because we're going to do this by feet. We're in America. We turn on the delay and we can select how much it's going to be. Now, from what I know from the measurements given, these are going to be 75 feet away. 75. And that's just going to be my go-to. So right now, the session's predetermined for this. It might change. In fact, it will change. And that's why we're going to use Smart or Open Sound Meter to do a final proper measurement in the actual venue. But as of now, this should be set. So we have plugins instantiated on every single one of them. This is going to automatically compensate for the latency from having the inserted effects racks. And then we are going to have our automatic delay here. If we need to adjust it, we will using Smart or Open Sound Meter. I'm probably going to do Open Sound Meter because it's free and it's just easy to use. We don't have to worry about any licensing. And then we have all of our channels. We can now name them all, but we can also set these up to go to buses. So that's a really cool thing we can do, but it really depends on how you want to work. If you do use buses, keep in mind that any plugin instantiation that you have is going to affect your latency. So I don't tend to like to use buses to add insert effects. I usually just do my processing, and the reason for that is because the Wing is very good at latency compensation. It's extremely good. I think Dave Rat even measured it on the X32 that it has like no delay added by sending it to a bus. It's all already measured in the overall latency, which is very, very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of the mains, and we're going to just send these to a bus now, right? I'm actually sending these to 2 buses because I like to have everything kind of set up. We have enough buses, it doesn't matter. So we're going to make this my drum bus. And we're going to make this one out here, bus 10, sub bus. So anything that's going to feed the subs is going to go here. We're going to go to 0. And this is going to go to the sub mains. This is going to go to the normal mains. I'm going to do that for all of these. And now we can actually go ahead and control from the home. Do, what is it? Kick, kick, snare, snare, tom, 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 overheads. Set this to group. Set it to on and apply. Boom. That's my drum group. Next one. This is going to be the, what channels we have? Bass, we have 2 guitars, and we have a saxophone. So this is going to be boom, boom, tom, tom. You see, so kick, kick, snare, snare, tom, tom. This is where it's good to have it. So we have 8 channels. This is going to be the next one. Boom. This is going to be the 2 after that. So 10, 11, group, on, boom. So we're going to have bass, and guitar group. Bass is going to go to main. All these are going to go to main. Now we also want to make sure that any bass heavy elements are coming here. So this is a group, correct? Correct. So we're going to send channels, 1, 2, boom, and then our bass as a group on here. And that way all of the elements that are going to feed our subwoofer is going to feed the bus. This way we are going to be phase coherent, because you have to keep in mind, if you are going to be using buses, although the Behringer Wing and the X32 are completely phase coherent, meaning that you don't get any latency by adding it to a bus, any processing that's going to be done using an insert effect will add latency. So instead of having to constantly measure that delay or that latency, it's best to just do it here, because if you need to do it, just slap a plugin on. Slap a plugin on, grab whatever you want, and that's going to compensate for the latency, and you no longer have to worry about things being in and out of phase. Oh, hey, what's up? What does this say? Hi, hi. Hey, what's up? Let me put you on my other screen because I can't see that. Oh, hey, Wish Dream. It's really funny. It's like 2 a.m. here in California, and I'm just doing this because I've been missing a lot of videos. I've been working a lot. Yeah, I'm just basically going over how I like to set up shows and stuff. Earlier, I went over how we were programming the X32 to be the monitor console. And let me switch to that view so you can see that. Boom, the X32. And then we're going to be working. Oh, I just realized that you couldn't really see that. Good thing I checked right now. But yeah, so the way that it's going right now is I'm just setting up all my mix buses, and I'm going over when you want to use mix buses as a front of house console, you want to make sure that you're having a mix bus that's going to be sending all of your stuff to the subs. Because let's say you're using the subs here, right? You're using a sub send. If you use any plugins on a mix bus, you're going to get latency. You're going to have to compensate for that. It's going to really suck and mess up your mix. So what I like to do is have any element that's going to feed any type of sub thing also feed an extra bus. And I like to separate my buses from mains and subs using the main outputs. It's really cool, really simple. But yeah, that's basically the basic layout and workflow. So from here on out, we're going to be, what do we have after the guitars? We have this saxophone. This is going to be the saxophone bus, whatever. And then we just check. So the guitars are 10, 11. 12 is going to be a group. We set it on. Boom, done deal, right? And we just keep going on and on. So after this, we have the 3 vocals. So 13, 14, 15. It's going to be vocals. We're just going to start color coding to make it easier. 13, 14, 15 group, set to on, and apply. This is a lot faster than doing the sends to fader mode, although that also works. And then I believe the final ones is just DJ and vocals, stuff like that. You don't have to set this on a bus, but I tend to do that. I'll just do Vox, right? Like speech vocals and stuff like that. So that's going to be what channels? 16 and 17. So 16, 17 on a bus. And these are just going to be the speech mics, right? Set them to on. In that case, in case I do need to do any type of parallel processing on the speech mic, I can do it. Now, again, we have to make sure that everything is going to whatever it's going to. The DJ, the PC, and stuff like that, this isn't going to have to go through a mix bus at all. So I'm just going to have these staying on channels. But if I want to, I can. But that's also where you have the custom view that really comes in handy. So on the Wing Edit software, you just have a custom view. So I can say for my channels, I want to have all my drums, everything. Boom. I think it fits up to like 25 channels without having to scroll through. But this is all my input channels, and then I can go to my buses and I'll edit this, clear this out. This is where I'm going to have my buses and my sub bus and my vocal halls. And then if I have room, I'll also add my sub mixes, my mains, whatever, and my matrices. And then for my DCAs, I always just go to the DCA fader. You see that I already have some set up here. And I always have DCAs. So my drums are going to be on my DCA. Bass is going to be on its own DCA. And it's really easy. On the PC Wing app, it's so easy. I don't have percussions in this case. I have guitar, and I don't see that I have any sax ones. So we're going to make this one sax. Sax DCA. What color? I made saxophone purple. So we make it purple. And then what I also like to do is I control my DCAs on my actual Wing. I actually use the Wing itself to control the DCAs. I don't really worry about the Wing. Like I use that as a DCA controller. And we'll go over that right now. Let me go to my computer or my phone again. Try to get it to load up. I think I disconnected it. Let's relink it. Link. Looks like the phone doesn't want to link anymore. I wonder what happened. All right. I'll figure out what happened later. Basically, I would use the DCA view. I use the custom views on the Wing. It has custom views kind of like this. And you basically just tell it, hey, I want you to be, oh, there it is, connecting. You just tell it, hey, I want you to show me these DCAs. So in that case, for the DCA view, I'm going to have the drums, the bass, guitar, background vocals, whatever. And that way it'll all be there. It's going to be really cool, really simple, really easy to go. Now, this show's basically set up. There's like lots of fine tuning that needs to be done. But honestly, that's pretty much it. I have my buses set up. I just need to make sure I have them all at Unity. I have my sub bus. And keep in mind, remember that I'm only doing elements that are fitting buses that are going to be set to the sub bus. And that's only because, we're going to be doing parallel processing and stuff like that. Let's just say for the drums, I really, really wanted to have an instance of, I don't know, I really wanted to use a channel strip for the drums, right? So we'll do the vintage channel, right? Let's say this is the processing we wanted on the drums, on the drum bus. Because it's on a sub bus here, I can just easily grab something that has a similar amount of latency and just like slap it on. That way, it's gonna be time aligned and phase coherent. And anytime I do anything like this, I honestly do just use channel strips and stuff like that. So I'll do something like for the bass, we will use even channel. For the guitars, we're going to use a soul channel. Saxophone, it'll be essentially the same thing. We're going to just use a lot of standard effects, lots of channel strips. It's just going to give us cool little vintage vibes and cool little like color things. But that way we get to have everything completely in phase with itself. And because we don't really need to have any special processing, it should fix itself automatically. If you do need to have graphic EQs on those buses, you can. And that's a cool thing. That's a cool reason why it's good to do this, because you're going to be able to like have that extra processing to fix problems if they ever arise. Now, in this case, those are all the buses we're using, but I think we have one more slot. We technically have two. We technically do have two more slots we could use, but the only reason why we're not using those slots is because that's my voiceover. That's going into my Nook, being processed via the Dante control, doing denoising so you don't hear like the cars and everything drive by. I don't know why there's cars at 2 a.m. But yeah, that's the whole reason why that's not there. But normally we would have two more instances of plugins that we could add to. And so that gives us like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stereo instances of plugins that I can use at a time. Now, another option would be if you are using SoundGrid or Dante to do an insert, and you can just have a whole, like that. I don't know if you could hear that, but there's a car revving up right now, super loud. He just crashed. This is LA. And now a car alarm's going off, see? But yeah, so this is a great way of operating. I really like this kind of workflow. And like I said, I like to use the custom views here, but you can edit any of these, to be honest. Like even my aux view, that's why I have this set up. If I initialize it, the aux view originally just shows me my aux inputs, right? So what I've done is I have put my voiceover on it, and I can just put my matrices, and now I can see everything that's going to feed the stream. Because if I mute this, unmute it, it brings the stream back. And this is also, being fed from certain things. So it's only being fed the channel. If I want to play back audio, I can just add it in, and I can make it a group, hit apply. I could set it to pre, hit apply. It's really cool. I like how everything on the Wing Edit app is completely customizable. So even on your matrices and stuff, don't be afraid to just edit this and add stuff however you want. Honestly, I'm really tired. I think that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you, Wishstream, for saying hi. Really cool. I am tired. It's 2 a.m. What? 2:30, almost 2:22, and I have work and I have kids that have to go to school in the morning. So I'm gonna call it a night, and mostly because that car alarm is not stopping. But yeah, I'm gonna probably pick this up sometime later. I do want to go over how we're gonna be doing some routing with Dante. Actually, you know what? Hey, what's up, Raj? How's it going? I was about to go off, but I think I'm actually gonna go over Dante routing really quickly. Um, we're kind of creating a session earlier using different consoles, an X32 and a Wing, to do monitor mixing and front of house mixing. But I just want to go over how you could utilize the Wing via Dante to connect to a different console. So I'm going to initialize this session, right? Actually, we could do it from here, but let's do, I believe it's called, where is it? Library, show, mixer, comp start, and yeah, boom. So completely initialize the session. You still should have audio. Oh no way! Yeah, it's 2:30 a.m. in California right now. I don't know if you can see that properly. That's awesome. Well, good morning. I guess, is it 2:30 p.m. or 2:30 a.m. for you? That's the real question, right? But yeah, so if we want to go over Dante routing on the Behringer Wing, it's really cool because I do lots of recordings where I will, record orchestras and stuff for clients, or they've asked me, hey, I need someone to come here and be a recording engineer. And usually the front of house guy is usually on a Yamaha or Digico or an Allen and Heath console. And the Behringer Wing has 48 mixing channels, but a really cool thing is the Dante card actually has 64 mixing channels. So if we go to our Dante card right here, you'll see that it has 64 channels that you can record onto. So you can get 64 channels from any other console that has Dante and stream it into the Wing or stream it into your computer. The reason why I like to stream it into the Wing is because I also have the original SD card recorder in here built in. So I can actually record those 64 channels straight into an SD card without a computer. It's a really, really great workflow. Wow. It's 2:50 p.m. So it's like almost 3 right now. That's dope. It's 2:25 a.m. here. That's cool, man. Awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. This is like my first time actually trying to do this. It's like the fourth attempt to, like, I guess this morning, but tonight. But yeah. So the way that it works with Yamaha consoles, and let's just grab a random internet browser. We'll go here. And we will do CL5. Let's switch over to that view so you guys can see it. Cool. You guys should see it now. So this is a Yamaha CL5. Most Yamaha consoles have Dante built in, and they use like a Yamaha Dante control thing. But the way that it works is Yamaha consoles have stage boxes that have Dante as well. Yamahas are all 100% Dante unless you get a what's it called, a TF series. Those are like the worst ones that they make. But let's see if we go to products. Should be Pro Audio. So this is how it works. So the best way of getting audio from a console that has a Dante based stage box or that has a Dante card is you connect to its Dante network. So in this case, a Rio, which is what the Dante stage boxes for Yamaha is, it's what their higher end one is a stage box that has Dante enabled. Let's see if we can find pictures of it right here. Okay. So if we go to the back, you will see a primary and a secondary Dante port. So what's going to happen is the primary port is going to connect to a network switch, right? Let's do Netgear switch. It's going to connect to like a switch, usually better than this, but you'll have one connected to this and the other one connected to a different one. That's going to then connect to the Yamaha console. In this case, most venues I work at now have DM7s or CL5s, but it will go to the back of the console itself. And Yamaha's console is always, their website is so buggy. It like never works properly. Look at that. It's like not working. Well, anyway, on the back, there you go. On the back of the console, you'll see primary and secondary. And so basically, the Rio is going to go into the primary slot from the network switch, and then the other network switch that's on secondary is going to go there. Really easy. And then from there, we're going to kind of handle all the routing from the Yamaha side. So if we grab another tab and we go for Behringer's website, and let's throw this in here. It's just easier this way. So if we go here, the Behringer stuff has, let's go Sweetwater. Let's go Wing Dante. So the Behringer Wing has a Dante card right here, the Behringer Wing Dante. What I've done is I've actually taken this chip. I bought this. I bought the card, $600 card. I took the chip out and I put it inside my my wing rack. My X32 has the actual option card, which is this one. There is no internal Dante card for the X32. It has to be an option card. But this one gives you 32 by 32. And what you do is you connect this to the network switch that whatever Yamaha, Rio, whatever stage box is connected to, right? And you do primary to primary, secondary to secondary. What happens then is on your X32, you're going to go to your routing tab and you're going to go for your inputs is going to be card inputs. So now your local inputs, right, for your input tab, it's going to be card 1 through 32. And then on the Dante controller app, you're going to connect that to your computer. This is using an X32, right? So I used to do this before I got my wing. It's a little bit less cool. But so we have the X32, and we basically just and oh, I think my laptop is like, what did I do? I think I did something to my laptop, but we can connect it to the NUC, right? So go for the NUC. And in this case, we can say, hey, you know what? X32, let's do channels 1 through 16, and let's put it here. Boom. So now 1 through 16 that's going from the Rio is going to go here. Or what you can do is you can just connect this directly to the network, and you can grab it straight from the Rio or the Yamaha or whatever stage box you're using Dante control or Dante controller. The only reason why you would want to go through the X32 at all is if you are going to be mixing through it. I do like to mix through it, but I like to record clean. So when it comes to the X32, it's not as easy. You just have to just grab it from the Rio, and you're going to use this as a monitor console. But for the wing, it's a lot different. The wing is going to grab it. So let's pretend, again, 17 through 32 is going to be from the Rio box. You're going to grab it and throw it in here. The reason why I like doing this is because on the wing, you have 2 cards you can use. So if you have the Dante card internally like I have, you're able to record Dante directly to the recording SD card recorder without losing anything. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Outputs, Live Card, right? W Live Card, select the input, and you're going to go to Dante, which is really cool. So we're going to go Dante, and you can see right now that I'm on Dante input 1. That's connected to my my NUC that has Super Rec Performer on it. Let's get rid of this. And that's where my voiceover is here. I have a couple of noise denoisers and stuff, but I can now add all of the 64 channels that are on the Dante network into the Wing and use the onboard SD card recorder to record 64 channels lossless. It's lossless. There's no conversion or nothing. And the way that the Wing has developed its recording capability is very, very good. I don't know what Behringer did on their SD card recorder, but it sounds very good. Super clean, no noise. Everything is super high fidelity. It's fantastic. So this is my preferred way of doing it. I will go through all 32 channels or 64 channels and record. Now, in most cases, I'm normally not even actually using 64 channels of inputs. Most of the time when I do record orchestras, I think they usually use about 48 channels, sometimes 32 channels. Depends. If they have like a QL1, they're maxed out at 32 anyway. So I'll record all the channels here, and then I'll go through my inputs, and I'll turn my inputs into Dante inputs on the console. And then that way, I can just go ahead and mix it live or monitor live, and I can still record onto my computer via the USB card, because we have YouTube audio right here. That's where you're actually getting audio from onto YouTube right now. It's actually coming in through here. So if I was to, like, let's say, get rid of this by going here, you're gonna lose audio. Watch. And boom, it's back. So you have 48 channels of USB you can record on the Wing at all times. It does not matter what option card you use, you will always have 48 channels. So if you're using less than 64 channels, let's say you're only using 48 channels, I like to use this as a redundancy. I will have Dante right here, and I'll just like slap it in, do whatever, right? Have all my channels. That's what I'm going to do, right? I have all the channels laid out like this, and I record 48 into my laptop. I also record 64 channels or whatever. I might even have redundancy. I will record them into my Waves card or my Wave Live card. And that way I can have lossless just in an SD card. And if the client pays right away, I just give them the SD card. I always have a backup, but the way that works for the Wing is you have this little SD card slot, and you can either have each individual card record 8, 16, or 32 channels at a time. And then you just link them, and they basically record at the same time. And as you see here, it's actually patched 1 through 32, 33 through 64. So if, let's say, I want to put myself on channel 41, Dante 1, now you can have a redundancy of 1 to 1, right? So it would be 33, right? Let's do 33, boom. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. So that's how that works. It's really cool. It's really great for gaining redundancy. And this is actually how I record lots of orchestras lately. I just go through that. Oh my gosh, you guys can't see it. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. My bad. Okay. So sorry about this. I need to learn to remember to switch. Let's just recap that real quick, okay? We'll reload the preset. So when you connect to a Rio stage box or anything, you're going to connect using the Dante card, right? So on the X32, you have the Dante card. On the wing, you have the Dante card. I suggest going for the internal Dante card. You just buy this one and insert it in. You have to just install the special GPIO software. But what's going to happen is you are going to be able to see Dante inputs, right, on the Dante card. And this is going to allow you to use Dante controller to route everything out of the Rio into your console. The console will then be able to record every single channel from the 64 channels of Dante into the Waves record card. So you click here, you go to USB audio, and that's where you're going to be able to have your Dante inputs right here. Again, like I said earlier, this is where I'm also coming in via Dante. So you'll just go 1 through 64. You hit record by linking these and making sure that they're both set to recording 32 channels. You don't want them at 16 or 8. You have to have them at 32 channels. You also want to format the cards beforehand to make sure that they don't have any glitches or bugs. You link them and then you just hit record and it'll record 32 by 32, 32 channels on one, 32 channels on the other one at the same time in sync. So you just grab the two cards, put them in your computer, and you can export them and get all your channels. Really sorry about that mess up. I'm really tired. It's 2:30 now, so I'm really tired. I think I'm gonna go do another live stream where I'll do a video where I actually go over the Dante routing properly. But thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm really sorry about that little mess up at the end. I need to remember to keep switching. I keep forgetting that I have all the cameras views and stuff. I need to move the switcher right next to me. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm really tired. I'm gonna get some sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Raj, have a good afternoon, and Wishstream, thanks for watching. Bye.